No, Ohana means family.
Does it now?
It does, in Hawaiian, which is actually a language. I didn't know that until I was 11 when I was at Hawaii for a family reunion. And then I remember Hawaii was not pleasant because I went boogie boarding, but I got a huge rash on my stomach, and I cut my legs on Coral Reef. I was really clumsy kid when I was growing up, Andre. It was the worst, man. Ever since then, I was like, my parents were like, "Want to go back to Hawaii?" I'm like, "No, do not." When I folded my arm, turned my head away. No.
I don't want to go back to Hawaii.
It was exactly that pitch too. So.
Dude.
BM. Let's introduce our players, starting with. Who
do you want to start with?
Let's start with.
I'm right in the middle.
Right in the middle. So. Let's go top left, top left. In the top left, we have the Red Zerg from Team Liquid. His name is HayprO, nicknamed the Banjo Zerg.
Yep.
I don't know exactly why, but I just know that's one of his nicknames. HayprO is currently struggling in the matchup in ZVP in the mid-30%. So not exactly his best win rates. Has been beaten notable people like Nanual in the past at MLG, but still searching for his first win at NASL against this player, TT1. The blue Protoss player from MTW, Bayam Toyam, who's been on a tear. He's 4-1 in his division. If TT1 wins this, he secures his spot as #2 very solidly, and he just has to win a couple more series and then guaranteed playoff positioning. And TT1's been doing it not with 2 base all-ins, although he did 2 base all-in once or twice, but not necessarily with cheesy play, but with very standard macro toss that everyone's been fearing, and that's just very encouraging.
Yeah, and in an age where we see 2 base galore from Protoss, whether it be robotics plus Stargate, you know, robotics, blink tech, just straight up immortals, whatever it might be.
There's a list, man.
Yeah.
8 gate, cut the gas.
8 gate,
7 gate, plus
7
1.
gate, 1 plus 1,
War
plus
Prism,
2,
4 gate.
plus 2 shields.
Plus 2 triple forge, double Twilight.
Double Stargate. Seriously, there's so many in this day and age. And it's funny because Zergs have kind of had to prepare for all these different styles and inevitably have been very, I would say, weakened in the macro play. They haven't been able to play against economy styles too well just because they have to prepare for all these different styles that you could be doing as Protoss. And continuously, we've seen TT1 go this macro style, and it's been doing beautifully. Absolutely amazing, I think. And
yeah.
Again, TT1. I mean, we talked about this before. This gateway is so instrumental. And it's going to be, again, another, what is that, 8? Oh, he puts up another pylon. What a BM.
So BM. I don't even know if that's in range of the hatchery, but the queen comes down in 8. And you can see HayprO for a while has been wanting to place down his hatchery, and as a result hasn't been able to do it. TT1 being such a nuisance. And HayprO's investing a lot of lost mining time. At the same time, TT1's been also getting the cancels off. And this is going to be...
These cancels are so good for TT1. We worked out the math before. These drones being off the line for so long. This is over a minute now. I've been watching. It's just about to hit. Yeah, it's a minute and just about 5-6 seconds. So we're looking at, you know, a good, what is that, for 320 minerals. Is that right? No, it can't be right.
Drones mine 42 per minute.
160 minerals. Yeah. For some reason, multiply by 2.
But the big thing is delaying the hatcheries, and it's. I mean, hatchery goes up around 4:15 and 4:30. That's a minute, which means that's a full larva cycle at best.
Correct.
And that's that many less units you have to worry about in terms of drones and units, and those things compound over time. So TT1 with a pretty good start here to delay, especially since he got the cancels. I was gonna say candles. Protoss don't necessarily get candles. Unless they're trying to charm other female Protoss
Could be a
players.
candle in the wind.
You know, I feel like most most girl gamers play Protoss. Is that true? I feel like I'm wrong. Am I right in that?
I would say you're...
I feel like every time I see like a female play, it's like Protoss. Obviously Scarlet plays Zerg, but
yeah,
it's just
we got Flo who plays Terran.
That's true. I'm missing a lot of them.
Megumi, probably the best girl gamer in the world.
What race does Zoe play?
She's Terran.
Oh man. Okay, you know what? I'm completely wrong then. I accept that. We see a better timed tier 1 building. I thought it was a Roach one initially, but HayprO makes a baneling nest really quickly. This is very interesting timing. HayprO's making an incredible amount of Zerglings. And is he going to try to baneling bust?
Yeah,
his
he will try to
opponent?
baneling
Wow.
bust. Unfortunately for him, TT1 is doing the exact style that probably deals with this most efficiently. He's going in with a Zealot and a Stalker, which is only to scout his opponent. And once he sees so many Zerglings over here, actually do they run into each other?
Yes,
Yes,
they
he does.
do. And TT1's like, whoa, that is way too many Zerglings. Yeah. And the good thing is that TT1 didn't go gate robo this time. He went gate into 4 gate. And so he will have an availability of units immediately. And this Stalker might even get back home before speed even finishes. So that's a very big save indeed. Stalker will absorb a lot of the baneling bit explosions. TT1 looking very sharp in terms of defending against this if HayprO decides to commit to it.
Yeah, and the thing is, TT1, because he got these 4 gateways up so fast, and he is, look, he is going macro style after this. He's gotten the very fast Twilight Council, which enables him to get the fast +2 attack. He will be able to plop down 4 sentries, and I know TT1's style is to do that. He loves to get sentries early on and have them really, you know, show their worth into that mid game. We're going to see that pretty soon. TT1, do not prove me wrong. I swear. I swear, TT1.
HayprO moves up, and he's going to go straight for the 4, try to see if he can enter that way. There's a lot of Zerglings left, and TT1 needs to stabilize. He's going to put his sentry against the wall here, but get immediately surrounded. Does TT1 have enough warp in, really? Where? He's now starting to put his gateways to use. The Banes are morphing right there into the mineral line, and you can see now TT1's going to fall back with his Zealots. Now, his Zealots do have +1, which help incredibly against the onslaught, but HayprO isn't done just yet. Now streaming more Zerglings in. A lot of probes are going to die. And TT1 is going to call back all of his Zealots that were initially in warping on the right side of the map and finally able to fight against his onslaught. But these Zerglings are now in the main, still ready to wreak havoc.
Wow, absolutely fantastic. HayprO is taking a huge advantage right here. And, you know, that critical Zealot warping, I mean, he should have suspected something. That is kind of weird that TT1 did that. You have to know your opponent is capable of doing a Zergling baneling all in after seeing so many Zerglings out in the field.
Oh, the banelings are trying to go in, but that's a very difficult path as, you know what? Those banelings used MapQuest to get to the probe mineral line because that is definitely not a Google Map user.
No. It depends. I've taken some bad Google Maps.
MapQuest is terrible, man, after using that. But you can see that these Zerglings have no problem ravaging the natural mineral line as TT1 is still has some Zealots and Sentries left, which could force field accordingly.
Will he actually defend this? I don't think so.
This is still a lot of Zerglings, and these Zealots do have +1.
Is he actually get? He's going to save his Nexus. Yeah. That is awesome.
And he stabilizes, and he has his tech up. It's not like he's incredibly behind either. TT1 did save some probes, enough for at least 1 base. And you can see he's getting his Dark Twilight Council. Nope, his Dark Templar Shrine.
Dark Twilight Council. Yeah, obviously he needs to get back into the game somehow or another. And I think a Dark Shrine is a great option to do that. Now, he did lose his Robotics Bay, or Robotics Facility, I should say. So he doesn't have the opportunity to actually start morphing in any Immortals. That should be the cue, I think, for HayprO to actually say, oh, I can actually stay on Zergling Roaches for quite a long time. I would even say Roaches are empowered because of that, because you've seen so many Zealots in this early game stage. Just like go to Roaches, I'm absolutely safe to take a 4th base. For now, he's just going to drone up. I agree with that as well. But he needs to cover all of his bases. One of the main things that you defend against is really fast upgrades when you're ahead. Really fast upgrades, and you make sure that you are not going to die to, you know, any form of cloak units, whether that be Infestors, Dark Templars, or Banshees. You always prepare for all of that. So hopefully he does pretty soon, but I don't see any Spore Crawlers being up.
He just saw it, in fact. He has Overlord in position and clicked on his building, so now he's going to start putting Overseers. And Overseers are actually incredibly valuable as well, just controlling key locations, making sure DTs can't really get past. But the first DT is being warped in for TT1. And are they in position?
Fantastic play, though, by HayprO. I love that scout. It's just so beautiful. And he's going to come in here with the Dark Templars. They're going to do squat. They get cleaned up very easily. You can see it goes directly into a Spore Crawler, and he has to hightail it right there. He's actually upgrading Charge from here. A very interesting way to actually progress on. You know, I haven't really seen a lot of Charge lot openings. I don't know if he's going to continue on with Charge Lot Sentry or Charge Lot Archon, but he has warped in additional sentries, which is very suspicious, actually. But we'll keep on that and see. HayprO, I mean, we can all say and agree that he's in a commanding lead.
HayprO has Tunneling Claws and Burrow in production and has a very healthy drone count for 3 base. 64. Now, timings are kind of weird because he spends so much of his initial gas on the banelings, but the Dark Templar sneaks out just in time to catch sight of HayprO's army. And TT1 has enough force fields to really keep his force ramp blocked for days, and he's going to try to even get out his Immortal as quick as possible. That said, HayprO finally going to start moving around. If he can take out these rocks and really force HayprO to cover multiple spots, then he can be able to try to even break it. But with Immortal coming out soon, don't think HayprO can really do anything.
Yeah, but HayprO doesn't need to do anything. He can just take the economic advantage, go 4 base against 2 base. That's absolutely fine. Actually, pressuring in here is kind of weird. But it looks like he will be segmented off a little bit. Was charge canceled, by the way? Yes, it was. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It looks like he did cancel charge, but HayprO's burrow and Tolling Calls are about to finish, giving HayprO the ability to move underground. Does TT1 have detection? Yes, he has an observer outside his natural. And meanwhile, we see that TT1 is, again, just playing very defensive. He can't do anything whatsoever. He has to wait for critical things to finish, like his blink is +2. Then he can be able to confront that army. But what's interesting is TT1's second robotics here at the natural.
Well, yeah, he's looking to do some sort of 2 base. Now, from here, I think a great option to always do is just get your Spire Tech, and or that, or get Ventral Sacs again and start getting your Pneumatized Carapace and start dropping all over the place. Keep your opponent in, and then trade efficiently. That's one of the toughest things to do. Trade efficiently and make it so that your opponent doesn't have the ability to counterattack and have so much momentum. Great effort over here. Overseer sees not only double robotics facility, but also contaminates that one robotic facility, stopping the Immortal play. Now he knows exactly what his opponent is doing. A huge amount of Zerglings coming out here, and I love that choice. All he has to do now is spread his creep, get some banelings in there, and make it very difficult for his opponent to get a huge, you know, surround.
Yeah.
Well, a huge
baneling
push.
drops are fantastic. We've seen players opt for muted tech switches sometimes, but we see that HayprO is just very comprehensive in his vision at this moment, really keeping tabs on Protoss. Has the Zergling also burrowed at the third, making sure TT1 can't put the Nexus there. TT1's moving out. He's got 11 sentries and 3 Immortals and a handful of Stalkers.
I don't know why he's actually moving into the middle of the field. I don't think base trades are actually good when you're ahead in economy. Just completely try to trade out your opponent and do it efficiently. Especially attacking off of creep. I mean, that's one of your most powerful things at this point in time, especially when you're putting so much emphasis in your economy. But I have to actually revoke my words because his drone count is only at 65. That's not a lot of drones. I would assume that he went a lot more, but you can see a ton of drones in these spine crawlers. A total of 14 drones here that could have gone to better use, I think, going up to 79 harvesters and just pumping to 200 a lot faster than he did now.
HayprO has a couple investors coming out, and he's getting Hive Tech as well as a Spire, so really preparing for a late game transition. If he can get there, TT1 separating his Stalkers from the rest of the pack. You can see the Immortals and Sentries. They're really trying to see if they can take out this base that's not even there yet. TT1 separating his Stalkers. Very interesting.
Oop, targeting down one of the Sentries. And that one is very full. Nice job by HayprO. Just that little meticulous micro. Looks like that, yeah, as you said, third base is coming up. The Zergling sees it. Unfortunately, that Zergling is not, you know, 10 banelings, and magic can happen.
Yeah, I know, magic trick from Chaos.
Magic trick.
I feel like, I'm not sure if that Nexus is off center at all, but
it might be.
Feels like it is.
Feels like
I
it
guess
is,
because comparatively we're biased because of that Zergling, but it's like an optical illusion, man.
It's hard to tell a lot of times. Zerglings are going to try to backstab right here.
Yeah, and that's why TT1 sent his Stalkers. You really want to make sure that third can get up. How frustrating is so many times that Protoss players move out to say they can deny a base only to have counterattack, like the one at the natural and the third. HayprO doing a very good job pulling back TT1. Now the big thing is that TT1 has double Colossi coming out, and HayprO needs to be able to answer it. He does have his Spire finished, but he's starting a greater Spire, and so he's going to go straight to Broodlords. He doesn't have that many Infestors to really supplement his army, and so he's going to have a very vulnerable air. Nonetheless, TT1 has a pretty delayed third base. It's 20 minutes in the game, and his third base is just getting up.
I actually think TT1 might have it here. I think there's too many Zerglings at this point. 21 supply full of Zerglings. You can see 42 right there. You want to have at the least amount of Zerglings when you're actually confronting your opponent, unless you have super upgrades on them, or they're going to merge into banelings and you can drop them directly on top. But, you know, defending this 4th base, I think there's going to be a lot of momentum. Even though the Colossus will die, the units tab is showing 10 Corruptors out in the field. Maybe you can keep them alive. 2 more Colossus are coming in here. I don't think there's quality supply in this army for HayprO. That's the main thing that I'm trying to say. Units tab, only 4 Infestors. I don't think the quality supply is good enough to actually beat this composition. Look at how many Immortals there are. Oh my god.
There are 6 Immortals. And the main meats of HayprO's army, just like you were saying, are Roaches. Now the Greater Spire does finish if HayprO starts Broodlords and TT1's still roaming the map. TT1 has a huge timing window where he can really strike, especially it depends on where HayprO starts making the Broodlords. And he's making at the 3rd. TT1 has a very nice time where he can move into the 4th base and HayprO can't really do anything about it. Until, I mean, he's going to get out of position. Now, keep in mind, he doesn't have that many Infestors, and TT1's second-guessing himself, and he backs off, giving HayprO a little bit more time, so it's still anyone's battle. But again, HayprO doesn't have a great position. He can really get force fielded off for days. Look at how many sentries there still are, 11 with almost full energy.
Still good momentum for TT1. He's able to push in here. Take out this 4th base. That's pretty instrumental, actually, even though HayprO's had just such a big advantage. And here we go. Oh my gosh, there's actually nothing to deal with the Colossus. And that actually means that the Colossus will take out all of these Broodlings so fast. You can see the Roaches and Infestors are dying fast as well. And all it's going to take is one really nice blink. There it is. He's going to go directly on top of the Broodlords. The Broodlords are being focused down very nicely. And I don't think that HayprO will actually stop this. My god, HayprO is going to lose this battle.
Oh man, having a huge economic advantage. HayprO not picking the best battles because of those Broodlords forming at such an awkward position. Not able to get into the area that they need to zone off with the Infestors, especially because the spines are all geared for a middle of the map attack. TT1 picking a fantastic engagement spot. And you can see HayprO is remaxing on lanes, but really can't do anything against the onslaught of units. TT1 just has to make the pathing difficult for the Zerglings. The Colossus will clean up everything with supply and Overlords coming in. So TT1 has everything in his favor, and it's +3 about the finish, which means that his resupply will be even stronger. What can HayprO do to hold off the Protoss army?
I have no clue. HayprO at this point has nothing, no substance to his army. And TT1 again showing why he is up there in the ranks. GG. HayprO will fall yet again, and TT1 takes it, putting himself very, very nicely in 2nd place in the division.
TT1 is now 5-1 in his division. Just like you said, 2nd to Puma, who is very clear 1st.
Yeah.
He's 6-0 with 11 points, almost as clean as you can get to a perfect record.
Exactly.
So TT1 moves up. HayprO still searches for his first win. He is now the actual bottom, right? Because Braddock's been winning games here and there. HayprO's been dropping 0-2.
Yeah.
And that's just unfortunate because HayprO he's actually a good player. He's a good player.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it was. HayprO was just so prudent. He was so scared of some sort of huge counterattack. All those spine crawlers, as I said, if he goes up to 80 drones, he can just be like, hey, here's all these units. I don't care how much I trade. Because it's a 2-to-1, right? Because if I'm at 4 base, you're at 2 base, I can well, it's not quite 2-to-1, but I can trade pretty inefficiently and still be ahead of you. So that being said, I mean, it was really tough for me to see that. It's interesting because HayprO, that was actually, I take back what I said earlier. That was his 5th base that TT1 was at. He's at 4 base, really comfortable. And TT1 was actually on 2 base economy because his main was mined out very clearly. It was 22 minutes into the game. So HayprO had all those things going in an advantage, but just like you said, empty supply, not real substance to his army. Yeah. Let's take a closer look at a big defining moment of that game. TT1, now this positioning, because Brewers had to come in from the 3rd, the angle was awkward, and TT1 able to really section off the units. You can tell HayprO wanted to jump in, but he had no way to deal with the Colossus, and the position from TT1 was too strong. I think a big thing that we should also concentrate is quality supply in HayprO's army. Roach Zergling, when I'm mainly Colossus Immortal in this, and Sentries, is a really tough position to be in. You need to actually be teching up further, so you need cost-efficient trades. And this is a trap that I see a lot of Zergs getting into, where they just stick on Roach Zergling for too long, and they're scared of actually pushing in, rightfully so, as Protoss have a lot of defensive capabilities with obviously Immortals, Cannons, and Sentries out. But I think HayprO needed to have that efficient trade, or at least some sort of trade where it gives him a little bit more time to actually tech to the Broodlords, have Broodlord Corruptors, Infestors, that composition, and they can go from there.
So guys, TT1 takes the series 2-0 and moves up very nicely. Thank you so much to iBuyPower, the PC company that gives pre-assembled computers. Go to buy yours at ibuypower.com. Guys, before we go into that, also pick up your subscriber pass that also supports us, so you can watch the NASL Sunday Showdown this Sunday between Naniwa and Genius. Genius from MVP, Naniwa from Quanic. It's going to be an epic Protoss versus Protoss.
And I have to say, I love the way you did your hair today. You can see all of that in the 1080p. It also comes with a 1080, or excuse me, the HD pass, so definitely check that out.
That's true.